G'day, my name is Shay with Box Collector, and today I will be teaching you how to play the 3 to 5 player game, Thieves Market, designed by Dave Chalker and published by PickPocket Games, who provided me with this copy. In Thieves Market, you will grab loot, hire your crew, and pull epic heists. To set up the game, separately shuffle the market cards, heist cards, and relic cards, and place them in face-down decks in the middle of the table. Reveal 5 cards from the market card deck to form a face-up display. Collect loot dice according to the number of players and place them in the middle of the table, returning the rest to the box. So in a 5-player game, you'll use all 16. In a 4-player, use 13. And in a 3-player, use 10. And in this example, I will be doing a 3-player game. So there is 10. Place the 5-point and 1-point tokens and the gold coins within easy reach of all players. Give each player a random character card. Give the first player token to the player wearing the shiniest piece of jewelry. A game of Thieves Market is played over a series of rounds. Each round is split into 2 phases, the loot phase, which is taking dice, and the market phase, which is buying cards. Each round begins with the loot phase. At the start of every loot phase, the player with the first player token collects all the loot dice in play, rolls them in the middle of the table, places their first player token next to the dice, and takes the first turn. On your turn during the loot phase, you may either split loot, which is when you take as many items from the middle as you'd like and place them in a pile in front of you. And this may include any amount of loot dice and or the first player token. Or you can steal loot, which is when you take all items from any player and place them in front of you. Then you'll return at least one item, including a loot dice and or the first player token that you choose, to the middle. So if I'm taking this dice, I'd play it in the middle. However, you just got to make sure that you re-roll returned dice. And you can return multiple items, but you must keep at least one item from the stolen pile. So basically, let's say one player chooses to split and they take all of that. The next player in the looting phase, if they chose to steal, they would steal all of these items. And then they would just have to decide how much of the loot they return back to the middle of the table. And after a player has taken their turn, the next player in clockwise order without any items in front of them takes their turn. So a single player may take multiple turns in the same loot phase if they have their items stolen from them. And once all players have at least one item in front of them, the loot phase ends. So just to make things really clear, let's say Josh takes this, Cameron takes these, Dave decides to take all of these, returns one dice to the middle and re-rolls it. Well, now, if we keep going around, Josh still has dice, so he doesn't go again. Cameron had his dice taken from him, so he has nothing. He can choose to steal or split, and he'll split, taking the rest. And now, since everyone has dice in front of them, the loot phase ends, and the market phase begins. Starting with whatever player has the first player token, and continuing clockwise, players will take turns buying cards and gaining points and coins. On your turn, you may spend as many rolled gems and gold coins as you'd like to purchase as many cards as you like from the display. The cost to purchase a card is shown on the top left corner of the card, and players may pay for the cost of a card by returning loot dice back to the middle of the table that correspond to the gem icons shown on the cards, and or by spending gold coins. Gold coins are considered wild and may be used in place of any gem coin when purchasing cards. Josh only has 1 diamond, so he can't purchase this card, but he can purchase this one because he has 2 rubies. So he'll return these to the middle of the table and take this card. Do not replace any purchased cards with new cards. This will not happen until after all players have taken their turn and the round ends. After you have finished purchasing cards, gain 1 point token for each of your dice showing an owl, and gain 1 gold coin for each of your dice showing a bag of money. Then return all your remaining dice back to the middle. It's important to note that you may never have more than 2 gold coins in your supply. Also, coins gained from this money bag symbol are not gained until after you have finished purchasing cards. So basically, Coins gained from this money bag dice may not be used on the same turn that they were gained. Purchased cards may only be used during the market phase to manipulate the dice you gained in the loot phase. Cards may be used on the same turn they are purchased, and each has a special icon. This card has a 1x, meaning you may only perform this action once per round. Cards with this infinity symbol means you may perform this action multiple times in the same round. And cards with the lightning bolt mean you score this card immediately when purchased. And when you use a 1x card, you'll rotate it sideways to remind yourself that it may not be used again this round. So after Josh purchased this card, he could change his diamond to a ruby if he'd like. If he did, he would change the dice and tap the card to remind himself he can't use it again. Once all players have finished their turns in the market phase, the round ends. If any player has purchased their third relic card, which I'll get to in a moment, the game ends immediately. Otherwise, you'll begin setting up for the next round. To set up, you'll replace all purchased cards with cards from the same deck, so that each display is refilled. At the end of the first round, you will reveal 4 cards from the heist deck, in addition to refilling the market display. And at the end of the second round, you will reveal 3 cards from the relic deck, in addition to refilling the heist and market displays. And for the rest of the game, you will refill each display at the end of every round. If a deck of cards ever runs out, you will no longer draw replacement cards for that display. And as I just mentioned, at the end of each round, if any player has purchased their third relic card, the game ends, and the player with the most point tokens wins. In the case of a tie, the tied player that is currently earlier in turn order wins. I'll explain what some of these symbols mean. Hopefully they're pretty intuitive. When you see a double arrow like this, it just means you may turn one die from one side to a different side and vice versa. As I explained just a little bit ago, when it's one arrow, you can change one die from one side to a different side. If it's like this, you have to have both gems and you can discard them to get that many points. Or in a case like this, you can trade a gem in for a gold coin and points. Relic cards are just all about points. Every single one has a lightning symbol, meaning every single one is just going to give you points the second you buy it. So this one's just going to give you 4 points straight out. When you purchase this card, you'll gain 6 points if you have the most cards, or if you're tied for having the most cards, including this one. And if not, you get 4 points.
There you go. That's how you play Thieves Market. I hope you enjoyed learning. It's a really easy to learn game. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out my other content. Thanks.